Welcome today. Today's webinar, we're going to talk about documents and documents in relation to the family portal. I'm going to show you, though, documents from time to time inside of the system as well, and how the two sort of work together, being public forms being that's shown for clients that you're working with, versus an internal view is going to be what your SAM users and your full admins see inside of the system. I want to make sure that you guys know how to access both and see all of that. Okay, so today's agenda, the first thing we're going to talk about is just the terms for SAM and the difference between documents versus forms. We will be talking about using checklists for uploading versus using forms for uploading. I'll talk about the document repository in SAM, so where you guys see documents in full. There's many places to see them, but where every document goes to, I'll share that. Then we'll also talk about some of the rules that are around your end user's experience with public forms, and then different ideas for viewing documents using the family portal or the public forms for that. So why are we talking about this? Because your team will generate a lot of time from not uploading documents or managing documents between email and your clients. And then the documents, my understanding is they come in sort of 2 or 3 at a time. And it's going to be nice and easy for, or easier, let's say, for your families to see all the document requirements that they have, and then upload those for you, and then essentially your team has other things to do than scanning documents, okay? You will be able to communicate more clearly required and expiring documents, and families will also be able to view what's completed versus what's still needed. They can see that pretty clearly through the checklist, so it should reduce unnecessary status calls. And so really just want to make sure that you know that SAM will help your team with the management of scanning and uploading documents, or downloading and re-uploading documents into SAM, depending on how the documents are coming to your team from the family. So we can really consolidate those actions. First off, we're going to talk about documents versus forms, just so we're very clear on the different terminology that's used, because that word in English, those two words in English, just can be used sort of interchangeably. So in your system, this is not a public form section, but this is inside the system. A document is uploaded through a field that looks like this, right? So it's like a regular field that we're used to looking at when we're going to upload any sort of document. A document would be a PDF, a Word document, an Excel file, a CSV file, a JPEG for a photo, anything like that that you're hoping to store inside of the database. Okay. As opposed to, well, I guess let me go over here. This is actually 2 other ways. So that was sort of an internal view of documents, where a document is uploaded. The checklist is another spot for families or your team to upload. So this is an example of what the public form looks like, what families interact with the checklist, and where they have the ability to download a document and then upload the document. Once the document is complete, they can see it here, or once the document's been uploaded into the spot. And I can show you sort of in SAM how that works in a few seconds. Internally, this same checklist section here has these document folders, which are the spot where your team can download or upload documents. So here, when they are gray, it's a spot where the document can be uploaded and it's not essentially complete. Versus here, this section, this checklist item here is complete. The document is or this folder is in blue, and this can be downloaded. You can view the document from this position. In contrast, this is a form. This is one form out of many, many forms that can be inside of the system. And a form allows you to do data entry. So I just want to get fairly clear about the differences in that, so that or in those two terms, so that when I talk about documents, or when you read in our guides about documents, you'll understand that we're talking about an electronic file that's going to be uploaded into the database, not a form where your users or clients will enter data into the database. The next thing we want to talk about is the documents repository in the system. So let me see, it's going to pop me in here into the system. Like that. The documents repository can be here. So it is available for families, children, birth parents, organizations, persons, donors, volunteers. It's consistent. Even if you were to create a new entity type or major record type in the system, the documents will be available, and the functionality of them works consistently regardless of what entity type we're mentioning. Wherever documents are uploaded in other parts of the system, they will all, by default, be added to this spot in that client's record. So if, for example, you've got checklists with documents being collected there, as the documents are uploaded, a record will be stored here in the system for that document. If documents are uploaded through a form, right? So if I was adding a home study and I want to upload a home study document, I can choose that this is a home study and that I can upload the document. We'll use this image here. And here's the receive date. Let me change this to a date that I will recognize. Once this is saved, I can actually navigate back to the cover page and then this documents area here, and we can see that this home study document is available here. So even though I uploaded it in a different spot in the system, it's all documents are showing up in this section too. Okay. So for clients who may not know this, documents can be downloaded here. Okay, so we can look at, here's this image that I've used in the spreadsheet or in the slideshow today. We'll see in a little bit. You can also view details of this record. You might want to keep all kinds of information about this specific document that you want to have on the record. So you could view details, or you could edit this document as well. So editing the document is going to be, oh, it's really not the home study record. It's actually the confidentiality statement. I'm going to put an order to it. I could upload this, right? So this is not like editing a form, but it is editing this document record. Okay. Just want to be clear on that. So, okay. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about, and I want to make clear for you so that you know, because as we move into the family portal, these concepts are going to be useful when we're talking about that, about documents being shown on there. I want you to notice the document type list. So this is a list that your team manages in the database. I think by default, there are some things like confidentiality statement or home study or social security card available in the list, but essentially it's a list that is modified by your team so that the terminology of that document is embraced and known by your team. So it's something that's familiar for you guys rather than something that you're sort of needing to live with. It's very flexible that way. So these document types can be edited through the document type list. There's a lot of ways to go about accessing the document type list. I like to go from a specific field. So when I click on the document type field, if I go click here, this will take us to the field properties screen. This link also takes you to the field properties screen. And from this, I can tell any list, not just this list, but this list right here. When it is a list, Sam will tell you what list it's using and link you to that list. So here is the actual link to that document type list, and you can manage it here. So this is one way of going about it, is just adding list items. So adding your entire list. If you're new to the database, I think a more efficient way of building this list is through checklists. So under settings, checklist configuration, we'll choose the family checklist. There are these checklist items. So this is not going to be a webinar about how to build and add a checklist item. I really want to stay focused on our on documents and the kind of things that you can do and see with that. But when you add an item and you select what section it's in and you label this, right? I'm going to make a test document. Further down in the checklist section, talks about documents to upload. So this is, let me jump back over here. This is the document, what we want to call this the social media agreement. It's going to be a space for this document upload, or a space for this document upload here, okay? Is what we're building with this section. When you're new to the database, what works really efficiently is to create a new document upload field and then click this create new document type. And now the document type list is being built. The connecting fields, the date field that is the checklist item and the document upload field that is correlated with that checklist item are all connected. And then when this checklist item is entered, right, on a client record, the test document will now have a, when the document's been uploaded, the document section here will enter with a field, a row that says test document, and we get the document link and things like that. Okay, so that's the connectivity between them. That part can be a little confusing. I'm going to give you just a second or a few minutes to unmute yourself and see if you have any questions about that connectivity before I get into a little bit more detail about the document type list. Or you could also use the chat. I think mine is under more, and there's a chat function that you can certainly use if you have questions. Okay. Mm-hmm. So seeing this is not as easy from their side. You would look at it internally through this side, right? Is really where your families are gonna be able to see things, or I'm sorry, where your users will be able to see items that the family can see. Right, you really can't, and it's sort of you don't want to be logged in as them. So there's not right now a great way of seeing that. When you're building um, a checklist, so once you've got a checklist built, you can open up the public form over here under settings, public form links. When you're like, if you were looking at the checklist here, you can open this up. I think this is going to get a little bit too technical for a lot of people, but for you guys, it might work. Open a random record. And I happen to be, am I logged in? I think well, maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Right here, then there's IDs up here, family and the case ID. So you would change those values to their values. And that's, to me, it's a little bit technical, but this information is available on the family's record. So there's the family ID, and a lot of times we don't have case ID necessarily shown on the home page. That's going to be sort of, where do you guys like to see the case ID? We do have it on the case details page, and so you could put those numbers in. And that should, for you, Jen, get you a clearer view of what that family is seeing. Otherwise, it's looking at it directly from their record. Yeah. Yep, you're welcome. Hi, Steve. No. You mean like I do believe you're right. Yeah, I think that would happen, is that family would be kicked out if their screen became refreshed in any way or they clicked anything. So you both could not click at the same time. What I don't know, I haven't actually tested this, and Jess, if you'll make a note, we can do this, and sort of follow up with you guys, is if I'm logged in here, and of course this family happens to have 0 checklist items for us to play with it, but if we're both logged in at the same time and I kind of go in this behind the scenes way, if I was to upload a document, will it look like the family uploaded that document? That I'm not really sure of. I would use this more for you guys working with the family when they're struggling. All right, let me see. Let me jump out of here. Okay, document type list. So on this document type list has a lot of potential for it, of settings to use that will allow you to filter and view some of the documents in different ways. Yeah. Like, there's all different ways to sort of like categorize these documents because there are so many. So sort of like a foldering system. This is what I would maybe use as the foldering system in SAM. And yeah. Okay. Each document, when I click into it, any of the documents that exist here can be edited right through this edit link. So I can change the name if it's essentially the same document and we're just needing to change that name of it. If it's a brand new document, go ahead and create a new list item for that. There is a document category, and that I would say is SAM's foldering system. It's a way for you to sort of, again, link these types of identification documents, birth certificates, social security numbers, driver's license, all of those sorts of documents into what you might call identification, so that on a subform, you could filter on just identification documents. It's just a way to have a greater categorization of the document list. Okay, so nothing really comes, I think potentially these two come by default in SAM, otherwise it's sort of an open. One thing to note on here is you do need to have the current release in your system that we're putting out weekly in order for you to be able to filter on forms with this document category. For some reason, there was a little glitch, and now it's been fixed in the recent release. So that's coming for those of you who haven't gotten that yet. There is an option to exclude from the document list. And this would be like you want to keep medical information under the medical form on a child or a family record. And so it's not going to go into the main document repository. It's going to be stored. That document type is only available through the medical form that you can permission out, right? Or limit users' permission to that medical information. That could also be used for like counseling notes or something like that to just, again, further limit what users have access to viewing that section of the system. You jump back now. Okay, so those are the two things on the document type list that can be used. Other things that I want you to know about on the document list, and I think this really is true for all lists, okay, because like we can get in all kinds of interesting settings in the way that people want to do things, but because we're again focused here, under advanced options, there are lots of options available here. But the two that I want to point out that are probably less known are these. Let me scroll in right here. Enable show selected list items on public forms, and to enable list items to be shown per form. The reason that I want to call this out is like I'll show you in a moment once I jump onto the family portal, a document section there. And I don't actually want to like, do I want to show you now? Well, I guess the thing is what I don't want is for families to see your entire 400 document potential types in that list. I want them to upload for us a driver's license, an insurance card, or an insurance or some kind of medical card that expires, right? And it might expire at an off time from the home study collection component. So I want to be able to use different lists. I want to show them a limited list there. When I add this, so when I click and enable it, let me go back to 0. I now get a new what's called a list attribute, which is what forms is it shown on. So by default, it's on all the forms. But I could go through my list and driver's license, right? This is a person in home driver's license, and say, I don't actually want this to be available on all forms. I really only want it on maybe the document add edit form. I'm on a different site than what I built the public form on. I believe that the public form would show here also. Let me see if that's true. Other thing to mention right there, this PHI right here, is that, or PIH, these are edit forms. They're not the view forms. So you're going to be able to view whatever document type is listed on that document. But when you are adding a document record through a document, through these document records, in this case, this is only for document when we're adding a document record to the site, which is, let me go back just so when we're adding one of these records into the site, I will be able to change what lists are shown, okay? So right now, what does this mean? This list item is actually not going to be on these expiring documents. I probably want to put it there too. Maybe actually only there, okay? But it allows me to limit things for the end user. Let me jump over to, that's the master. I'm going to click out of that because I don't need that. I want to get into this site. And what I want to show you, I think this is our, there we go. This is where I want to be. Okay, so I'm logged in as the Cooperman family. And I've gone, just so you also know, as far as like knowing what a family can see versus what your team can see, when you open SAM into open SAM in an internet browser that is incognito, meaning it's like eliminating all your caches and what it knows about you, it's sort of a hidden view, is a better way to get a view for them for what the end user sees. So for example, they cannot download documents. So if you're logged in and you're opening up a public form, you will be able to, because you can, if you have that access level, you can see that document. But really, the family won't be taken to that visibility. What I want to show you here, though, is on checklists, I've added a document subform. And I filtered this document subform by those documents that have an expiration date. Yeah, so I'm seeing like driver's license or insurance cards only is how I've got any documents that are going to expire. And so I'm not necessarily meaning this for the home study. You could do that, but to me, the home study table will take care of that because that document is needed again in an annual year. But it's more for these documents that expire at off times. Curious if anybody has other types of documents that sort of expire off the annual home study update, other than like the driver's license or your health insurance card. Things like that. So I think like your medical, things that are needed for the home study, like the medical report, the tax documents, those, and the home study itself, those to me are done on the annual, which don't necessarily need to have an expiration date here as well. Though you may choose to enter that expiration date. Let me jump over to this form. So under settings, public form links, I'm actually going to go into the case checklist and edit that. What I want to show you is just how I've got this subform built. So I've added a subform to the site, which is I had gone under advanced options, add subform, and then I chose that I want my subform to be based on the family documents, because that's what I want to show on here. And then I chose specific fields that I want to show to the family. So now I'm looking at this form by itself. And here is criteria that I've got on this document, or on this form. But under advanced options, really advanced options is where you add this criteria and where you can manage it if it's not already available up there at the top. So I'm wanting the family to see not only, in the checklist, the documents that I need them to download or upload. I also want to show them these things that they may have provided to us that are actually expiring at off times. So these are documents that are shown the expiration date is within 2 months in the future. And then I have this feeling that there actually needs to be another data point on the document record that says that that document, once it's expired, that there's another document available, which is the more current record of that document, or the fact that this document the expiration date, it always sounds weird when I say it, is like it's been satisfied, it's taken care of. So I actually chose that there's an updated record available as my terminology. And so this is showing us that, yes, this document is expiring and we don't yet have a document that is updated. that is coming from their document records, and it's those with a document expiration date. And here I've done the same exact thing in my internal view, is created a subform where the documents are shown in a filtered state, and it's just showing those with the expiration date. And now I've got this available, or this field available on this subform, because that's the only place that it matters. If I click here and go back to this family's record here, we'll see that there are no more expiring documents, that they don't have to worry about this anymore. Okay. I think that this could be useful, and I guess I want to open this up, this subforms part, and get some ideas from you guys for our Get It Done call. We're hoping to talk about parent education, but the idea of parent education and how you build that out is the same as dealing with these documents in like Sam's form building world. So I'm curious if anyone has any ideas for documents where this would be a useful tool, or you'd like to kind of showcase some documents for the family that differs a little bit from the checklist. Okay. Oh, and I've done that one. Good. And then let me jump back over here. So, yeah, what I feel like is this expiring documents will be, something like this would be super helpful. You're certainly welcome. I've got it on the checklist because I like to add all the documents and our site are being added there. So putting that there, you could absolutely put it up here on the front. Excuse me, on the home page. Yep. And who is this? This is Marcy is writing. Absolutely, you could use a document section like this for other sort of miscellaneous documents. And I think you might want to think about this. And I'm trying to, let me pause here because there's something that I missed. Okay, so yes, you could have another subform showing. It could show expiring or miscellaneous documents that you need to collect. Absolutely. What I would suggest is that you then add a document record on your client, and you put this in as, I don't know, a miscellaneous. We don't even have that document type now, but you add whatever kind of high level description you want, so that it could be used across multiple different types of documents, and then maybe have a document type. If you've got a list of miscellaneous, you might want to put like MISC and then the different document types as document as I'm using the word in my mind. I'm getting confused because I'm using the same word multiple times. Sorry guys. I might label, let me jump back over to this list. I'm going to get started. So having a list item is listed as like miscellaneous document A, right? Whatever that document A actually is. And then having document A, B, C, D, whatever, so that you can use those miscellaneous document types as a filter. I do believe if I go over here, let's see if I can add that. I've only got one table. Let me go back here. So remember when I mentioned the document category, there is a table that needs to be pulled onto the form in order to use that. And it's the document type table. I'm so grateful the site has been updated so that I can show you this. Here, when I go here and I'll go filters and criteria, I might say, oh, where is it? I put it on. Would have thought that we actually have checks the document category or the document like a table there potentially. I'm not quite updated on this site and I need to. What I feel like should be here is one more drop down that says, do I want to pull from the family documents table or the document type table. And if I choose the document type, I could choose document category equals miscellaneous, so that on my list here, I could have the category of miscellaneous documents and that being pulled on. Let me make a note. I want to get back with you guys on that. This document category. We'll try and come up with a video to show you that, how that functions. Okay, so but being able to use that as well. Yes, so all your miscellaneous documents, adding them over to this list here and having a list of miscellaneous documents, basically just showing the family documents that they need to upload for you is what would be shown here. And that could be expiring and or miscellaneous for sure. One thing that I've started to mention and didn't finish is on this add button, this, I can show to the family the fields that I want to show. So although internally we have so many more fields, I want to limit what the family needs to deal with and make it really easy for them. So here is where, again, it's like we've got this entire list going on, and this, we really want to show a reduced list. So using that option and the list attributes to limit it, the family can upload and enter the expiration date, and that's all they're showing us at this point. Let me upload that document again. I'll put that over here as medical letters, and they can enter an expiration date, right? So I opted in this example to give them the expiration date. You may decide that's something that your team wants to enter internally. I'm trying to encourage you to let that family enter as much for you as you feel comfortable with, okay? They can save that. Let me put this as 10/1/2020. Save so that this document will show up for the family also in our list. Pulling that back. Right, so we see that this document is here. Let me go into the rules real quick. I should be opened up into the family's view. This would not be a good field to display for the family, because when they click, it's going to look like they can open it, but they're then taken to basically to log into your system because they have to have access. And of course, they don't have access to your site. So no amount of login credentials here are going to actually get them to what they're wanting. So to avoid a call from the family, I would recommend you not actually show that link to them, but that you just put the dates that associate with it that you want them to enter. Though they can upload it, they can't download it because they just don't have access to that. Let me jump over here. Lost my, there we go. There we go. And the other thing is that they can upload new or in order to replace the document. So that's come up with some challenges too for folks. Let's say, oh, in this case, I don't have a way for them to edit it. Let me see if I can edit that real quick so that we can see it. This is the get started. This is this multi-record criteria. Jump over here. On this form, I'm going to actually allow them to edit the form. Edit the document. So here, there will be a little green pencil now. Once this refreshes, we go in to that, and here they can upload or replace. So what happens is that, let me get a new, go with this. What happens on these documents inside of the system, let me jump back over to, this is the internal view, right, is we just got, shucks, what did we just upload? The medical letters. The medical letters, that here. There they are, right here. So again, you can download it here. Over here, if I click on this, if I click here, it's just going to open it up. advanced options, and then view this family documents record, the medical, the modification history of it. Right here, this is what I want to show you is the modification history keeps the old document. So this was the original document that we'd uploaded. This is the new document that we uploaded. So you can see, should they overwrite the document, what the original was in case you need that version. Couple ways that you can get to the document. So that was on the document details form that I went very specifically. I feel like here, if I were to click edit here, that's not getting me to it. Where is it when I see? I'm not be able to see it right here because that's just giving us our new record. We can also look at it through view all family all family modifications, and you could filter here. So the modifications report like filter by family documents. When I click on it, here is that same document plus all the other documents that we have been uploaded here. But it offers you couple ways to see the modification history. On this family's cover page as well, under advanced options, there's view all family modifications. So it's generally up underneath the advanced options screen of a view form, or yeah. Okay. So that's it, I think, for today. There's, I think, a lot of things. Let me open it up to questions before I just kind of finish up with all the other calls that we'll be doing and all the other ways that you can stay connected with us. Does anyone have questions about documents and using those or ideas that you might want to share? Okay. All right. Well, we will ask you that sort of off to the side. So other ways that you can connect with us is next week there's a community call. It's on Wednesday at 10 a.m., same time, and it's really free and open. I think absolutely bring your questions about documents that day to talk about that in different ways that we can that we can use documents, and that you are considering using documents on the family portal. I'll be happy to talk with you about it through that call. The next call we're doing this month is Tuesday, August 25th at 10 a.m. It's on a Tuesday instead of a Thursday this time, so we're sort of feeling out what day is the right day. But that's going to be what is called our Get It Done call. And what I'd like to do is build out family training. It is going to initiate with a subform, and then we build an ad form of the different types of questions that you might want, or uploads, having a document upload for the family or other staff to upload a certificate of completion, some kind of record that parent education or training record is complete. So that being done. And then in September, we are going to start talking about the checklist again, because that's an always and forever continuous spot for a lot of times, again, documents. And so making sure that you guys know how to do that as well. So those are ways that you can connect with us online. Other ways that are a little bit more passive are through Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And you can find us under InReach Solutions or any of these links, and they should come out in emails as well for an easier click. Awesome. Well, I hope that you learned something today. And if you, Jess is letting me know events are on the website. So another way, let me jump over here, inreachsolutions.com/events. Over here on this page, you'll find all of the events so that you can RSVP and come and show up for them and get the info. That pops in. Here we go, family portal, that's today, and all of these calls down here, okay? Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your time. I know we're a little bit over. If you have questions, please reach out to us at support@inreachsolutions.com or the support link in your SAM site. Otherwise, have a wonderful day.